This past week, Canadian comedian Norm Macdonald passed away. I wasn't a huge Norm Macdonald fan, but I knew who he was, so when I heard about his death, I read a couple of articles about him, and as I was reading it, I came across something very interesting. In an interview, one of the people who was talking to him asked him about imitating other people. Norm was famous for doing imitations on Saturday Night Live, and so the interviewer asked him, what does it take to imitate someone well, to do a good impression of someone? Here was his response. Norm said, "You can't play someone if you don't like them." Here's the thing, people like themselves, and if you have contempt for that person, you will never play them properly. I thought that was profound. You can't imitate someone well if you don't like them. I got thinking about further steps to that. I would go so far as to say you can't lead someone well. You will never influence anyone unless you love them. That's true of you too. You don't listen to people who don't like you. You don't listen to people you don't respect. You are influenced by those who actually care about you. So if we want to influence anyone, we've got to start by loving them. That's the only proper way to do it. You can force somebody to do something for a short time, but if you want to see long-term effects, you're going to have to start by loving people. That's what Romans chapter 12 says. In verse 9, it starts by telling us that love must be sincere. You can't fake that. You actually have to go out and love people. Hate what is evil, cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in brotherly love. Again, that's where everything starts. Honor one another above yourselves. Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor, serving the Lord. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Share with God's people who are in need and practice hospitality. That's being loving. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. You don't have the right to retaliate. You've got to love. You've got to, even the people who don't treat you well, you've got to bless them, he says. Rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Find reasons to like each other. Do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Do not be conceited. Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. If it's possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Find a reason to love them. Do not take revenge, my friends, but leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, "It is mine to avenge. I will repay," says the Lord. On the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head. Here's the part to hear. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. That whole section says if you ever want to influence anyone, if you ever want to help someone, if you ever want to get someone going in the right direction, if you ever want someone to look back and say, I'm glad I knew that person, start by loving them. You will never do anything in anyone else's life unless you start right there.